Yo, 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 what is going on, COD Familia? It is your boy BN. Today, we are going to be taking a look at migrations for this past season. How did the off-season for any recruitment moves or departure moves play out? We're going to cover kingdoms that had the most amount of players and power coming in and kingdoms that had the most amount of players and power leaving. As always, if you enjoy the content, help us out. Throw us up on the video because it means a lot and does a lot. Then, if you want to get access to any of the data and information we're going to be showing, there will be a link to the website here for our BN/KVK analytics site in the pinned comment description down below. All right, once we load this up, we're going to head over here to Kingdom Migrations. We are going to select Start for SOS 14. That was the last season. Once registration ended, we're already on SOS 15 for Start. Once registration ended, we're going to analyze. We're going to let this load. And then we're going to start with, again, the kingdoms that have had the most amount of power coming in. So starting at the top, number one is going to be 630. Right now we know 630, I believe was here, either them or it's, oh, excuse me, that's 684 I think I'm thinking of. We'll get to them in a moment. But 630, 180 players coming in, 16.64 billion power coming in. That's a lot. Now, if we end up looking here over at a closer detailed view, me first. Thanks, sweetie. Appreciate you. Then we go 181 in, 1 leaving. You can see the power coming in, power leaving. But if you scroll down, this is actually ordered in, I guess, power chronological. So you can see this based on numerical order, I guess we should say. So top is going to be the strongest. And then you can see like 247, 168, 140. So it kind of goes top down, right? So it's kind of cool to be able to see that, just kind of a little bit of an expanded view. Then we get Kingdom 777 or 777 is number 2. So they had 165 players coming in, 12.11 billion power coming in. Kingdom 70 has 140 players coming in, 11.19 billion power coming into 70. Then we end up getting, and the cool thing is if you click on this, you can see the end. It'll also show you where they're coming from. So you can see like players coming from, like this person right here, right, came from Kingdom 5 to join them. 337 came to join them. And actually, it just says it right here, from Kingdom, right? So you don't have to open it, but if you want to and you want to look at some more details, you can. So it's kind of a nice view, right, of being able to do that. Then we get to 684, right? This is the new OPB group. 75 players coming in, 10.82 billion power. 754, this is COT, 123 players coming in, 9.77 billion power joining them. We got players for Kingdom 745, 133 players joining at 9.6 billion power. Then we get to Kingdom 749, we got 158 players coming in, 9.32 billion power. Kingdom 698, 50 people joining at 9.24. I mean, again, it kind of shows you when you look at these from a snapshot that if you're having, again, lower players, higher power, that's a higher power or average power per player that's coming in versus maybe that being a little bit lower, right, on 749, where you have 3 times the amount for basically the same amount of power. Then we get Kingdom 759, 147 players coming in at 9.23 billion power. And then we got Kingdom 743, 161 players coming in at 9.22 billion power. 620, they got 71 players at 8.5 bill power coming in. 721 is 102 players at 7.18 billion power coming in. And then we got Kingdom 770, that's 6.93. Notice how a lot of the kingdoms kind of around the 7, 6, 7, 800s higher up are getting a lot more influx of players coming in. And that most likely could just be because these kingdoms are either thinner, there's maybe not as much fat or as dead weight on the kingdoms, and or they could also be dead kingdoms that are just primed for rebuild real estate, like just good real estate kingdoms there in that case. Then we got Kingdom 80, got 44 players coming in there, 6.89, almost 6.9 billion power. That's 761 we have here, which is D&D. We got 130 players coming in. That's 6.81 billion power. Kingdom 240, we got 6.8 bill power coming in, 48 players joining. 738, we got 6.55 billion power, or 72 players joining them. 766, again, a lot of 700s. 6.3 billion power, that's joining with 106 players. And then we get to 225. This is 6.24 billion power joining with 14 players. Oh, thank you, sweetie. We got 6.04 build power joining for 259 or 45 players. 352 has 6 build power at 96 players joining. Let me see where I'm at. Okay, nice. Almost done here. I wonder how many this is. We got 719, 5.64 build power joining at 75 players. 713 is 5.6 build with 99 players. 618, 5.6 build with 63 players. We got 727, which is 5.39 billion at 41 players. 739, 5.37 bill at 67 players. Kingdom 37, 5.21 with 54. And then lastly, to round us out, we got 747 has 5.19 bill power coming into 68 players. 5 bill with 55 players going to 776. And then lastly, 771 is seeing 4.9 bill at 43 players coming in. So that kind of rounds us out. I think that might be like a top 30 or something. But now let's look at kingdoms that were exiting. Now, keep in mind, these could be rebuilds. This could just be players that are exiting from them. But again, I think it's always interesting to cover. Now, we know Pod was one of them that was kind of going and leaving to do a rebuild. But again, you got 18.65 billion power leaving, 153 players. Kingdom 40. Again, we know this was happening, right? Because this is TFS. They moved to 225. 14.38 bill left, 81 players. 373, 13.56 billion people left, going to 160. And the cool thing is, with departures, you can click on this and go down, and you can see, right, some people coming in, some people leaving, but you can see this is where they're going to, right? So here's a good example. 630 looks like basically the rebuild because you have a lot of people that are going to 630 here. And that kind of gives you a quick little synopsis of, well, right, is this more of kind of a rebuild situation? Did the kingdom really just fall apart? And are you just seeing kind of sporadic movement all over the place? There's ways that you can infer, and then you can also go to those kingdoms and kind of check up to get a little bit better of a gauge. But again, the data can tell you a lot if you just kind of know what to look for and what those identifiers are. Then we get to 286, WGL. You got 86 players, 12.77 billion leaving. Kingdom 44, 440 or 444. You got 12.23 billion leaving, or 70 players. 87, which is SP, 11.26 billion or 89 players leaving. 615, 10.63 billion power leaving, or 111 players. 404 had 10 bill power leave, or 82 players. 156, 9.16 billion power leaving, or 65 players. We got Kingdom 574, Ash, 9 billion power, or 116 players leaving. NA for 172, 8.66 billion power, or 60 players leaving. 221 had 8.6 billion power leave, or 63 players. Kingdom 3, which is RK, 8.53 billion power leave, or 70 players. Then we get Rage in 363, 8.38 bill power left, or 47 players. We had 209, 8.28 billion power leave, or 89 players. Then we get to BPA in Kingdom 539, 7.71 bill power left, or 57 players. 395, I think this is one up, right? We got 7 bill power leaving, or 61 players. 239 had 686, or 6.86 bill power leave, or 75 players. 483 with WW, 6.52 bill power left, or 50 players. Kingdom 401, oh, never mind. I think the NA is just if they didn't have an alliance there, one that was maybe over a certain power threshold, I believe. 6.81 bill, or 57 players leaving. 299, 6.1 bill, or 76 players leaving. Kingdom 380 for Sura, 6.08 bill left. 51 players, or 51 players leaving. 551, 6 bill, or 57 players leaving. 211 had 5.87 bill power leave with 49 players. 196, 5.86 bill power left, or 54 players. 424 had 5.8 bill leaving with 49 players. 354 had 5.77 bill power leave with 53 players. Then we ended up rounding us out here at the end. We had 617, 5.68 bill power left with 100 players. 575, 5.25 bill powers left with 73 players. And lastly, 198 had 5.24 bill with 74 players. Now, keep in mind, this, I believe, is only calculating for the top 50,000 players. So if you see some stats here that are showing like that, it's probably because they're most likely outside of the top 50,000 players that they're using, as it does say this up here. And again, that could just end up being the reason why. However, that covers, at the moment, the kingdoms that have had the most amount of power players entering, and, or we should say joining, and leaving or departing their kingdom. So yeah, I mean, again, always an interesting season. We will end up covering the top players probably in a separate video. I wanted just to kind of focus on doing kingdoms that way, so just the video isn't too long, and you guys can get a little bit more of a condensed and kind of focused view on each of the 2 areas that we'll be covering for this latest off-season migration. That's it for us, man. Let me know any surprises here on incomings, on departures. Let me know what you guys think in those comments below. That's it for me. As always, until next time, we'll catch you later. Say bye.